Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a huge bonding and room makeover vlog. So today I'm going to be doing my 7th bonding, and if all goes well, I will be redoing all of my guinea pig cages and redoing my entire pet room to accommodate the new groupings. So I'm really hoping the bonding goes well because I have some really exciting plans for the cage. So today I'm going to be bonding a pair of females with a recently neutered male. So I have a pair of females who was bonded about a month and a half ago, and then I have a male who is now 8 weeks post neuter. So I'm going to be trying to bond all 3 of them together. Hopefully it goes well, and if it does, I will be building a 2-decker stacked cage with 1 group of 3 on the top and 1 group of 3 on the bottom. I already have another herd of 3, so hopefully if this bonding goes well, I will have 2 trios to on my stacked cage. I've already bought all the supplies for this cage. I literally spent over $100 on coroplast and grids and wooden dowels and zip ties and duct tape and everything that I need to build the cage. So I really hope that the bonding goes well, but I don't want to do a lot of preamble before the bonding because that's the exciting part, and that's the part that I'm hoping will be easy and quick, and so I can get to the exciting part of building the cages. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I have for the bonding setup. So this is my bonding setup. It is a 6x3 pen with 14-inch grid, so it's about 24.5 square feet. This is also the exact size cage that they will be living in if the bond goes well. So I figured I would just bond in the exact same size space because it is definitely enough space to bond 3 pigs in. And as you can see, I have just 1 huge pile of hay in the middle of the floor. No hides, no nothing, just 1 huge pile of hay. Then I also have 3 water bottles, which were just freshly cleaned, 1 for each pig. And then what I did for the pen is I have a shower liner to protect my carpet. And then I have U-Haul to absorb their pee. And then I have a clean fleece. So everything here is completely neutral. The U-Haul has been washed, the fleece has been washed. This is fresh hay. These are actually fresh grids. I just bought them. And I clean the water bottles like I said, so everything has no scent. I'm also doing the bonding in my bedroom, which is a room my guinea pigs do not typically go in. This is where I do all my bondings, so it's a very neutral area. And then I also have some extra supplies that I always forget to bring. I have a towel and a dustpan to separate them if any fighting happens, and then I also have a box of mixed greens to sort of distract them. So I'm very excited, very anxious. I'm really hoping it goes well. But with all of that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and put them in here. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna be doing a voiceover recording for this bonding to sort of describe what was going on. So this is as soon as I put them in. They're very calm. I had high hopes for the first few minutes, but as you can see, Cinnamon, he's very active. He's wanting to mount them a lot, wanting to hump them a lot. And for the first few minutes, no one really had any issues with that, especially Stardust. But as you can see here, Sage is starting to get a little bit upset that she's being mounted. She's starting to nose punch him a little bit, fight back a little bit, but nothing super aggressive quite yet. And here's him going at it again, and she's doing more nose punching. She's more upset. She's getting a little bit more intense this time, but he does end up backing down here, I'm pretty sure. So he does walk away, which is a really good sign that he's not going to continue the attack. Here you can see she's also going after him. This is pretty mild, this nose punching. I believe they are chattering here and having a standoff, but as you can see, he backs down yet again. So at this point in time, I actually thought that Sage was going to come out on top. She also did a little launch there at him, another launch there. I wouldn't say those are too concerning just because they're small launches, and she hasn't drawn blood at all during this bonding yet. More fighting, sort of. She was a little bit more intense there. As you can see, Stardust is just completely uninvolved in this. She's just sort of off to the corner. It's mostly Sage and Cinnamon that have to figure out their hierarchy. The one thing I really did not like about this bonding was that he was going for her neck. Like in a lot of the tornadoes, he's right at her neck, which made me a little bit anxious, but he was also backing down a fair bit of the time, and no one had drawn blood, so I wasn't too concerned. But there you can see she did a larger launch at him, here's a little replay. She was actually a couple inches up in the air. So I gave everyone some veggies, gave them a chance to settle down a little bit here. And then here he's going to approach them again, and she's going to sort of snap at him, and he will back off this time, which is another really good sign that he's not going to initiate anything. And this is kind of what his interaction with Stardust was like. He's honestly just chasing her around and mounting her, and she is not putting up any sort of fight for that at all. And believe it or not, this actually brings us to 30 minutes into the bonding. So at this point, we are only 30 minutes into the bonding. So obviously this bonding went on for hours and hours and hours, but I'm just gonna go ahead and show some of the sort of top moments of the bonding. So here you can see Cinnamon backing down from Sage, which is a really good sign. And here he does it yet again. And then this is sort of the behavior that he was doing with Stardust, where he was just aggressively mounting her and she was doing nothing about it. And that was a launch from Sage. Here is a replay. She did not bite him, but she did throw her entire body through the air. But as you can see, there are also moments here where everything is calm. Here he is just laying down. Everyone's just sort of chilling out. And then here actually this is a really interesting interaction. They're both sort of rumbling and I think possibly chattering at each other as well. And then slowly but surely they both lay down. Now, this is actually a sign of sort of agreement upon the hierarchy, or it's at least a good step, a step in the right direction from what I have heard. So you can see here, Cinnamon just laid down, and Sage is about to follow him and also lay down. And this sort of means that they've come to some sort of agreement about something. I'm not entirely sure what, but here you can see they're both just laying down and doing this. And they did this about 2 or 3 times, if I remember correctly. All right, so here we just have some more footage of them doing a little bit of a tornado there, but they also spent a lot of time chilled out, just sort of sitting here eating next to each other. So I was feeling pretty hopeful about that. I did end up adding tunnels after all this footage was taken. I don't have any footage of them in the tunnels, but I did add tunnels later this night, and they stayed in this pen all night. And here is just one last clip of Cinnamon actually backing down from Sage. And I'm going to tell you guys, while it does look like Sage will end up being the one in charge, she does eventually submit to Cinnamon, but here you can see he's actually avoiding starting a fight or instigating anything. All right, everyone, it is now the next morning, and I think that the bond is going well enough that I can start redoing my room, which I am so excited about. I was getting a little bit nervous yesterday that the bond wasn't going to work out because Sage was being rather aggressive. She was doing a lot of launching. I literally think she launched like 10 times yesterday, but no blood was drawn. And this is how she acted last time I bonded her with Stardust as well. She was really aggressive for the first like couple of days, and then she calmed down a lot. So that's why I kind of held out, because I know Sage and I know how she acted in her previous bonding. I was hoping that it would be a similar case this bonding, and it looks like it is. Sage has calmed down immensely, like literally immensely. She has now letting Cinnamon hump her, which is a good sign. I think she is actually submitting to him, which I honestly wasn't sure was going to happen. I thought maybe he would have to submit to her. She's still showing some signs of like upsetness. She's still like making upset noises. She's still nose punching him a little, but she's not launching, she's not biting, and she's not tornadoing with him. So I'm definitely feeling positive about their bond. I think it is going to work. And so I've decided to go ahead and work on the room and building my new double tier stacked cage. I'm literally so excited. I cannot wait to give everyone more space. The girls here, my trio of girls, is going to get an upgrade from 18 square feet to 24 square feet, which is super exciting. And then obviously my trio with Cinnamon will be moved in here as well, and their cage will be the same size as the bonding pen that they have currently. So I'm super excited. I need to move everything in my room and I need to build the stacked cage. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys all the supplies that I have to build the stacked cage. So I have a ton of 14-inch grids. I think I calculated that this cage would need 60 or so, 60 to 70 of the 14-inch grids. I have them here on my past cages, which I will be taking apart. I also have like more grids underneath the tables, and I bought an entire new set of grids as well. Then I also need lots of connectors for the grids. So obviously I had connectors that came with the grids when I bought them, and then I also bought a pack of more connectors off of Amazon for my cages. And then also need lots of zip ties. So I actually have a bag here of 850 zip ties to use for this cage, because since it is 2 cages stacked on top of each other, you have to make sure that it is super, super secure. And then I also have 2 long wooden dowels. So I actually got my wooden dowels to be long ways to support the top cage long ways instead of short ways. So my dowels are actually 7 feet and 4 inches long. So the cage is going to be 7 inches long, and I added 2 inches on either side for the wooden dowels for them to support the top cage. And I bought 2 of those. And then I bought 3 4x8 sheets of coroplast because I want the cages to have 14-inch high back walls, because I really like having the high back walls to sort of keep everything in the cage, keep the hay from falling back there. I just really enjoy having it like that. So I bought 3 sheets of coroplast for 2 cages. So that is all the supplies that I bought to build this cage. I don't even want to add up how much that costs, but I'm really hoping that I am satisfied with this cage build, and it is like my last cage room change for the pig room. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with clearing out the area where I need to build the cage, moving my desk, vacuuming the floor. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that needs to be moved around in here before I can actually clear the space to build the cage. And then building the cage itself and doing all the zip ties is going to take me multiple hours. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright guys, it is time for a little update on the room. As you can see, I have done a lot of work in here, but I still haven't even gotten to start building my double-tiered cage. But it's fine. I took all of the grids off of all of my cages. I sprayed them with my white vinegar mixture. I didn't wash them super well because I'm going to try and use fresh and clean grids for the upper half where the newly bonded trio will be. But I did sort of spray them down a little bit. I don't know how many we have here. Hopefully we have enough. I do also have more in the other room, and then also obviously there are the ones that I have used to make the bonding pen. If I have to take that apart in order to build the cage, it'll be a little tricky with the pig still in there, but I think I can make it work if as a last resort. But hopefully this plus some of the new ones I have in the other room will be enough. And then this is maybe what I'm thinking for Waffle's cage for right now. I'm honestly not really sure. I just had planned for him to go somewhere in this corner. I had originally planned for a 3x3 cage, but I just don't know if that's quite what I want for it to come out that far, and for this cage to come out that far, I'm just not really sure. So for now, I have this 2x4 here, which was Cinnamon's old cage. It is a bit of a downgrade. It's only like 2 square feet less from what he has now, but honestly right now he has 12.5 square feet and he does not need that much. I'm sure he will be just fine with 10.5, and then if I ever get him a friend in the future, I would reconfigure it. But that leaves this very small space for my desk right here. I measured it and it is like just barely big enough for my desk, but I don't know if I want like my computer and everything like right up against his cage. Maybe if I put like a fleece barrier there or something. I'm not really sure. That's what I did when the girls were over here. I like blocked them off from my PC to make sure no dust would get in there. Right now they're just in the hallway. Waffle is in there, then the trio is in there. They don't have water bottles, but I have been giving them cucumber to make sure they stay hydrated, so I'm pretty sure that they're all fine in there. But the next step is to get my desk all the way over here and then clean out this area and start building the cage. All right, so I figure it is time for a little update. I don't even know what time it is. I feel like it is almost 11 p.m., but I want to get this cage finished and I want to get my trio into the bottom. Cinnamon and the girls, I don't think I'm going to go in this cage tonight just because I want to be able to watch them when I introduce them to a new space, and I will be going to bed as soon as the trio gets in here, so I will not be able to put Cinnamon and the girls on here and then watch them. So for now, I'm just going to put the trio in the bottom and Cinnamon and the girls will go in the top tomorrow. But this is what it looks like so far. It takes up a lot of the room. I only have about 4 feet between the cage and Waffle's cage, and then it literally goes right up to the door. But I am so pleased with this amount of space that I can give them, even if I don't love the amount of space it takes up in the room and how little floor space I have left right here. I do love the amount of space that they have, and that was really my ultimate goal in doing this. But as you can see, I have zip tied at every single intersection on every single grid. I didn't do the top ones because the top don't really matter. They're not supporting anything. But down there at the bottom level, the second level, you can see I zip tied every intersection at every single grid, connectors all the way around. And then I also went ahead and put in one of my wooden dowels. So this is a dowel that I bought from Home Depot. It is the length of the cage plus 2 inches on each side, and it just like supports this middle part here. I also have a second dowel that I'll probably add right here. I thought about doing them on the end grids, like here and here, but the middle is where it's really starting to sink down. So I'm gonna put the second wooden dowel like right here. But as you can see, this holds it up really, really well. And especially when I add the final layer of grids here, it should be pretty secure. I have enough grids to do the base. I don't know if I have enough to finish the front here, but that's not really an issue. I can put Cinnamon and the girls in tomorrow morning and then just grid them in once they're in here. That's not that big of a deal, but I'm really pleased with it. I'm really happy with how much space they're going to have, and I cannot wait to see the girls in here tonight and just see them being able to explore all this space. All right, guys, so this is what we have now. I think it is actually now for real, like 11:30 at night, but the cage is honestly pretty much finished. As you can see, the entire base is now built. I just have to add my second wooden dowel. I just haven't done it yet because I'm actually using it to like line up my lines on my coroplast for the top. But as you can see, this is very stable. Obviously there is a little bit of give because the area is so large, but that's why these wooden dowels are really, really important if you're going to be building a stacked cage like this, because you want to make sure that it is not going to collapse. And as you guys can see, every single grid intersection is zip tied, so there is definitely going to be no collapsing. I actually had a nightmare a couple days ago where my cage collapsed, so I was already thinking about preparing for this before I even built this cage. And then I can put my trio of girls in here. I'm so excited to see how they react. I still need to clean out their litter box. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier, but I need to clean out their litter box, put that in here, get the girls in here, set up his cage and get him in here, and then we will be done for the night, and then I will be finishing this in the morning. I forgot to mention I also added some fairy lights along on the underneath. They aren't the brightest. I don't know if they're going to provide that much light once the top coroplast goes on, but honestly for now they work. They're just a little bit down up here so the pigs can't reach them at all, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish what I need to finish, and then I'll check back in with you guys. Probably won't time lapse it because I'm recording this on my phone, because after my long day, my camera is dead and out of storage. So probably won't be any time lapses, but it'll be real quick, and I will be back to show you guys how they like the cages. Alright, so just as a little update on how the bonding has been going in here. As you can see, everyone is just sleeping, and this is how it's been pretty much all day. Every time I've walked in here to check on them, they have pretty much all been asleep or eating together. There's been pretty minimal dominance issues, honestly. Cinnamon is still mounting, both of them, but neither of them are really that upset about it. So I'm really pleased with their bond. I think it's working out really, really well, and I'm excited to have them in their cage tomorrow. Okay guys, so it is the next morning, and look at the rainbows in the cage that have come from the rainbow window covers that I put on. Look how pretty that is. This is so pretty, and they're just both sleeping right over there. I cannot wait to have this room done. I am tired of trying to walk around in this huge mess that I have made. So I'm gonna be trying to finish up the room today. I don't know, I might just leave Waffles in this setup for today. I want to expand him to at least a 2x4 instead of a 2x3, but I just need to like reconfigure some things, move my desk over, and I just don't know if I can get to that today. It's not my #1 priority. So I'm gonna focus on getting Cinnamon and the girls up here and then cleaning off the floor. All right, everyone, it is now time to finally put Cinnamon and the girls in the new cage. I'm hoping this is the best angle to like see them as they explore the cage for the first time. But I've got everything set up in here. Everything is completely clean. I deep cleaned the litter boxes. Everything is fresh. Everything is clean. Even the toys in here are actually brand new. I literally just bought them. So there should not be any scent interfering with the bond at all. Overall, their bond does seem to be doing really well. I did still hear some like chasing and some squealing late last night. But honestly, with a pretty like early bond, that's pretty typical for them to still be like chasing and squealing and mounting and all of that, and I'm sure it'll take Cinnamon time to calm down as well. So I think they're ready for the cage. I'm just gonna go ahead and get them and put them in here. They seem to be doing really well in the cage. All three of them are over here. Cinnamon has still been doing some mounting as expected, but no one is that upset about it, and there haven't been any issues. I'm so happy to be able to give both of my trios such a large amount of space. I think they're really going to be pleased with it. And I went ahead and added Stardust lamp here. This is a lamp that gives off vitamin D3 to help her with her satin syndrome. And I like to just put it above the hay. So I have one lamp right here. I might get a second one so that I can have one above each hay area, because I just want to make sure that she's getting enough of the vitamin D. But for now, the one over here will work just fine. And I'm just so happy with the way that it came out. I'm so happy that they bonded. I also added this little sign that I had for peanut pepper and marshmallow down here. And I also want to add more on this wall. I wanted to put a shelf here and then put Honey's little memorial up there with like her ashes and her paw print and just some stuff that I had to put on display for her. But I realized that I should have done that before I built the cage, because now I'm not sure how to get all the way over there to like nail up a shelf. So we'll have to figure that out. But next step is to clean the room, because it's just really upsetting. There's just so much here. So once we get the room cleaned, then if I have time today, I'll tackle fixing up Waffles' cage. But honestly, for now, he's okay in that size. I would prefer obviously one grid bigger, but he can wait a couple more days for that. But this floor cannot wait. I need to get this clean. Alright guys, so it is the next day and I finished pretty much cleaning up the floor last night. The cage is looking so huge and so nice. It was actually not that hard to spot clean the bottom last night at all. I could just sort of like halfway climb in there to clean the back. I don't know if the top will be actually more difficult to clean because it'll be harder to reach in the way back because I can't climb in. But we'll just have to see tonight. I do have a couple more things that I have to figure out where I'm going to store them. Obviously my shop vac, my trash can, need to find a home. And then Waffles still needs his cage upgrade. I still need to scoot my desk down to make room for him to have his 2x4. And then I also bought some more fairy lights to go underneath here. I'm going to sort of like hang them back and forth across the top here to make sure that during the day it's actually really bright in here. Luckily it's not too dark in here because it is such a large cage and it faces my windows that it does get a decent amount of light for being on the bottom, but I do just want to add some more fairy lights to make sure it's extra bright down here. So just a couple of last minute touches to the room that I want to do today before I consider it officially finished. All right everyone, I have finally finished redoing the room. As you can see, Waffles has now been upgraded to his 2x4. This was the cage that Cinnamon used to be in, and I think it's a really good size for him. It fits perfectly in this space too, which is not what I'd originally planned, but it actually works out a lot better to have him in a 2x4 right here. My desk is a little close to the entryway to my closet, but it's kind of always been like this to enter my closet, kind of cramped, so I'm not too upset about it. And then I actually had to expand my storage for all of my hides. And I used, I don't know if you guys remember the 3 cube thing that I had that was just 3. I turned it on its side right here. So you can see it's like 3 cubes right here. That way I could get more storage for the hides. Hopefully this shelf does not collapse under all this weight that I've put on it. That's all I have to say about that. Hopefully it doesn't collapse, but it's working really well to hold all of my hides, so I'm not complaining about that there. And then obviously we have the huge double-decker stacked cage. Honestly, every time I walk in, I still like do a double take when I look at it. I'm super happy with the way that it came out. I'm super happy with the amount of space they were able to have. And if anyone is interested in thinking of building a 3 grid deep double stacked cage, the bottom I actually found is the easiest to clean because I can just sort of crawl into the cage to get the back corners. It's actually the top that I'm struggling with because reaching the back corners here without taking off the grids in the front is really hard. So even when you're spot cleaning, sometimes you have to take off these top grids here so you can actually lean in to fully clean the cage. But Cinnamon and the girls seem to be doing really well up here. Hi, Sagey. I mean, there's still a decent bit of like humping and chasing, but as you can see, they're also just sort of coexisting a lot. So I'm really, really pleased. Sage has calmed down so much from literally trying to fight Cinnamon. I literally thought multiple times during the initial bonding that she was going to actually injure him. I'm glad she did not. I'm glad she has calmed down and everything seems to be working out with them. I also added a camera down here at the bottom over in that corner so I can actually watch the bottom girls here with that camera. And the fairy lights that I had originally talked about yesterday that I was going to go back and forth across the top haven't come in the mail yet, so that won't be in this video, but just imagine that it's more lit up down there. And then I also added up here, it was really hard to hang the shelf, but this is a little memorial for Honey. I still have to add a frame that my friend JC from Instagram got me right up there. I'm gonna have a little picture of her in it, but I haven't printed out the picture at the Walgreens yet, so I just have this for now, but I'm really, really happy with it. I have her urn, her paw print, and then this adorable little accessory that I got off of Etsy. It's like a little honey pot. So I'm really, really pleased with the way that her shelf came out. This is what I had envisioned when I planned to build her like a little memorial shelf, so I'm really happy with that. And then obviously over here, I just have my my cubes that are storing some of their regular stuff. This is This used to be over there, but it works just fine over here as well. And then under here is just some hay, my trash can, more hay back there, just some miscellaneous stuff that I'm storing under here. And then something that I did for Waffles' cage was I actually added this piece of fabric right here just by clipping it on, because since my desk and my computer and everything is like literally right here, I do not want any pee or poop to like fly out and land on my desk. So I just went ahead and built, or I guess attached, this little barrier here for that. And then up here I also have another camera. This is the SwitchBot camera, and this one is able to see the top cage here. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I also have Stardust vitamin D lamp also set on a timer now. So it is on from 8 a.m. to midnight and then off for about 8 hours during the night for them to sleep. But overall, I am so pleased with the way that this room came out. I'm really loving the window film. It's doing so many lovely rainbows. They're not in here now, but this morning, about a couple hours ago, there were rainbows all over the floor and all over the cages. It was just really, really pretty. I still want to work more on the walls. Like that's pretty empty. Like these don't even make sense up here anymore. They used to be above Sage and Honey's cage, but obviously there is no cage here, so I still need to figure out what I'm going to be doing with those. But overall, I'm really, really pleased with the room, really pleased with the space. If you guys are thinking about building your own stacked cage, please make sure to use lots and lots of zip ties and also additional support with wooden dowels. If anyone has specific questions, please leave them in a comment down below and I will try to answer them. But thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm super excited that this bond worked out, and I'm super excited that I was able to finally redo my room. Hopefully this will be the final redo. I cannot imagine taking apart this stacked cage after how long it took me to build it. So I think that alone will stop me from trying to redo my room again. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to see more of my content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.